Hello and welcome to another episode of Head On with me, Jake, on RKO Radio. We have a special tonight, a Kraftwerk special. After the sad news this week that Florian Schneider, one of the founding members of Kraftwerk, one of the most influential, important bands of all time, undoubtedly, he sadly passed away this week. So tonight, I wanted to dedicate this show to Kraftwerk and their music. I probably won't be saying as much tonight because I wanted to squeeze as much as possible in. And obviously, Kraftwerk songs, there's so many I could have chosen. And yeah, some of the songs are a bit longer. Just wanted to get as much in as possible. And apologies ahead for playing some of the single version edits of some of their longer tracks. But it was just unfortunately the only way I could get as many songs as possible into the show. So that was Europe Endless to get us started. Just a really beautiful track from Trans-Europe Express album. And just a really joyous sounding, hopeful track, I always thought. And just seems quite relevant in these days as well when we look at the situation in the world and Europe in particular. So Europe Endless to get us started. And next we have Autobahn. So that was Autobahn by Kraftwerk from their album also entitled Autobahn 1974, and just such another fantastic track. Obviously that's only the single edit version of that song. The original is something like 22 or 23 minutes long, but it's such an amazing track, and obviously the album version, it just goes on, but you never get bored of it. It's just such a beautiful track. It sounds like you are on a journey, and I always love the start of that song. You know, it's like the car door slamming, and it's like you're getting into a car to start a journey. And I think that's basically, you could almost take that back to Kraftwerk from that album. It was like they kind of finally found their niche, their place, after a few albums before that, which were a bit more sort of krautrock sounding, a bit more experimental. And this was like them starting a journey onto, well, their destination of where they were actually going. So that was Autobahn. And next, where are we going next? We are going to Radioactivity. So that was Radioactivity from Kraftwerk's album, also entitled Radioactivity, from 1975. Really beautiful track, and one of the first I remember hearing quite early on when I was really getting into Kraftwerk, but fantastic track there. Okay, let's move on. I want to get in as much as possible. So next we have, from the same album, from the album Radioactivity, we have Antenna. So that was Antenna from 1975 album Radioactivity, and I always really loved that one. It's got a bit more of a maybe aggressive type sound to it, I think. My old DJ partner Ollie, he was always a big fan of that. He used to play that track out quite a lot on DJ sets, and I think it's a really underrated one. It goes a bit under the radar, Antenna, no pun intended, but yeah, a really fantastic track. And I think that whole album, actually, Radioactivity, is actually pretty underrated. Everyone talks about Trans-Europe Express, Man Machine and Computer World, which are obviously brilliant albums, but I think Radioactivity is a bit underappreciated. So that was, yeah, a really great track to play. I think beautiful song there, Antenna. And as I say, a bit more aggressive sounding, but still has that obvious Kraftwerk sound to it. Okay, next, we are going to an all-time classic now, and we have Trans-Europe Express. So it's Trans-Europe Express even by Kraftwerk from the album Trans-Europe Express. That was obviously the single edit, the 7-inch single version. And again, another brilliant piece of music. And actually, the second side to that album, Trans-Europe Express, it starts with that track and then it goes into metal on metal and then Abzug. And it is like being on a train. Every time it sounds a bit cheesy, but every time I take a train somewhere, if I'm going long distance, I always make sure I have to have that track in particular, but also that album. It's just it's a great travelling album, you could say. But brilliant, Trans-Europe Express by Kraftwerk. And next we have Franz Schubert. So that was Franz Schubert by Kraftwerk from their Trans-Europe Express album released in 1977. And for me, I think just an absolutely beautiful piece of music. One of my all-time favourite Kraftwerk ones that I couldn't really choose between that and Neon Lights. They're both absolutely beautiful, fantastic pieces of music. And I think one of the reasons I really love Franz Schubert, that song, is it's just really unexpected. I mean, I played Trans-Europe Express just before that, and as I said, that album starts with Trans-Europe Express, Metal on Metal, and then Abzug, and you just don't expect a piece of music like Franz Schubert to follow that, and it's just mind-blowingly just out of place almost, but works so well. And I for me, just one of the most beautiful pieces of music I've ever heard. I've listened to it, I post it all the time. It's just such an amazing piece of music, and again, a bit under the radar, that one. Not always talked about when people talk about the best Kraftwerk songs, but for me, definitely one of the best. Okay, so next, where we're going, we are going to The Robots.
Charging our battery, and now we are full of energy. We are the robots. We are the robots. We are the robots. We are the robots. Automatic, and we are dancing mechanic. We are the robots. We are the robots. We are the robots. We are the robots. Я твой слуга. Я твой работник. Я твой слуга. Я твой работник. We are programmed just to do anything you want us to. We are the robots. We are the robots. We are the robots. We are the robots. Я твой слуга, я твой работник. Я твой слуга, я твой работник.
So that was The Robots from Kraftwerk's album The Man Machine from 1978, the opening track. And again, that was the single edit, the 7-inch version. And yeah, just brilliant. I love it when it kicks in just after the intro. I used to start a lot of DJ sets with that track, particularly when I was DJing in Manchester. A really great one to start a DJ set. And really sets the tone for the rest of that album, but absolutely brilliant. Okay, wanting to move on quick, so where are we going next? We have Neon Lights, also from the Man Machine.
Neon lights, shimmering neon lights, and at the fall of night, this city's made of light. Neon lights, shimmering neon lights, and at the fall of night, this city's made of light. Neon lights, shimmering neon lights, and at the fall of night, this city's made of light.
So that was Neon Lights from Kraftwerk's 1978 album The Man Machine. And I mentioned it earlier, I could never really decide between Neon Lights and Franz Schubert just as to what is actually my favourite Kraftwerk track. I think I would have to slightly edge Neon Lights. I think, again, I've said this many times tonight, but what a beautiful song, what a beautiful piece of music that is. And again, it's like you can really put yourself in a place, like you can with a lot of Kraftwerk songs. Like I said with Autobahn, it's like starting a journey. You can always picture that song, but starting a long car journey, or Trans-Europe Express, you can imagine going on a train across Europe, or, you know, between countries, or just long distance train journeys in general. And I think the same with Neon Lights. You can just picture being in a car, driving around the city at night. It's nice and peaceful, quiet. You just see all the lights shining, and yeah, quite romantic image. And I've just always thought that about Neon Lights. Just what a piece of music. And actually, one of my treasured possessions is the 12-inch single version, the 12-inch record of that on a luminous glow in the dark vinyl. But unfortunately, mine has never glown in the dark. I've tried many times. But you can't see it. It's a lie. They lied to me. So that was Neon Lights, and as I say again, that was the single edit. It was only like 3.5 minutes, but the actual album version is 9.5 minutes, I think. And you really have to listen to the album version to get the whole beauty of that track. But as I say, we're a bit pushed for time. We have to play the single edit, so we're going to move on again, and we have now Computer World.
Interpol and Deutsche Bank, FBI and Scotland Yard. Interpol and Deutsche Bank, FBI and Scotland Yard.
Time, travel, communication, entertainment. Time, travel, communication, entertainment.
Computer World.
So that was Computer World from the 1981 album, also titled Computer World, the opening track on there. And it was just so hard to, as I say, narrow down the songs I wanted to play tonight. I went for that one, but I could easily have chosen Pocket Calculator, Numbers, Computer Love. It's more fun to compute. It's just so many. It's just so difficult to fit as many Kraftwerk songs as possible into a 1 hour show. Virtually impossible. But yeah, I went for that, and it's absolutely an absolute Kraftwerk classic, of course. So yeah, nothing wrong with playing that, even if I have to eliminate a few of the others. Okay, next we are going to Tour de France.
d'Azur et Saint-Tropez, Tour de France, Tour de France, les Alpes et les Pyrénées, Tour de France, Tour de France, dernière étape Champs-Élysées, Tour de France, Tour de France. Pédaler en grand braquet, Tour de France, Tour de France, sprint final à l'arrivée, Tour de France, Tour de France.
So that was Tour de France, the single from, I should have checked, can't remember, the early 80s anyway. And I think, again, an absolute Kraftwerk classic. As I say, that was the single edit, the radio version. And yeah, fantastic piece of music. I used to love playing that one in DJ sets. I've not done it for a long time actually, but I used to play the Francois Kevorkian 12-inch version of that, which I think came out at the same time, but I think it's even better. But I just always loved the sort of shimmering sound that record has. It's just, again, you can just imagine cycling around France, on the Tour de France even, going around Saint-Tropez and Côte d'Azur and all these places, and it's just the sun shimmering off the sea, you can imagine, and absolutely beautiful track there. Okay, so we have to finish. It's been too short tonight. So, yeah, that was our tribute to Florian Schneider, who sadly died this week. An absolute pleasure to play all his Kraftwerk tracks. I just wish we had more time to play more. So you've been listening to RKO. You can find us at rkonair.com. You can find us on Facebook, Spotify, Twitter, Instagram, all of these things. And so just, we're going to leave you now. And just to finish us off, we have Om Sweet Om from the 1975 album Radioactivity, another absolutely beautiful piece of music this, and I think just the perfect one to finish the show with. So, thank you for listening. I hope you've enjoyed our Kraftwerk tribute, and speak to you all soon. Bye-bye.
Sweet. 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 Sweet.